We can start. As the speakers come in, we will carry on. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished speakers and a lovely audience who are here today, I'm really pleased and honored to welcome you to this program to observe International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women today, to effectively and timely tackle the challenges faced by women and girls globally, and to identify remedies and draw up an action plan to mitigate the challenges faced by them. Since 1981, International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women is observed on 25th November to honor the Mirabal sisters from the Dominican Republic who were brutally murdered by order of the country's ruler, Rafael Trujillo, in 1960. The Declaration on the Elimination of Violence Against Women, issued by the UN General Assembly in 1993, defines violence against women as any act of gender-based violence that results in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, or psychological harm or suffering to women, including threats of such acts, coercion or arbitrary deprivation of liberty, whether occurring in public or in private life. The adverse psychological, sexual, and reproductive health as a consequence of violence against women and girls affect them last at all stages of their life. While gender-based violence can happen to anyone, anywhere, some women and girls are particularly vulnerable. For instance, young girls and older women, migrants, refugees, ethnic minorities, persons with disabilities, and those living through humanitarian crisis. Why must we eliminate violence against women? Violence against women and girls is one of the most widespread, persistent, and devastating human rights violation in our world today, which remains largely unreported due to the impunity, silence, stigma, and shame surrounding it. In general terms, it manifests itself in physical, sexual, and psychological forms, encompassing physical violence, sexual violence, human trafficking. Some of the statistics, facts, and figures which we have here, the highlights of data compiled by UN Women, shows that globally, 1 in 3 women has been subjected to violence at least once. Every day, 137 women are killed by a member of their family. Adult women account for 49% of human trafficking, the rest being children. 1 in 5 women is married before the age of 18. Women and girls continue to undergo forced female genital mutilation. Adolescent girls worldwide continue to be victims of forced sex. Cyber harassment is reportedly experienced by 1 in 10 women. Street-based sexual harassment is faced by 40 to 60% of women, while pervasive gender-based violence is not inevitable. It can and must be prevented. Stopping this violence starts with believing survivors, adopting comprehensive and inclusive approaches that tackle the root causes, transform harmful social norms, and empowers women and girls with survivor-centered essential services across policing, justice, health, and social sectors, and sufficient financing for the women's rights agenda. We can end gender-based violence. It is essential to raise awareness. So this year's theme is Orange, the World. End violence against women now. Orange is our color to represent a brighter future, free of violence against women and girls. So ladies and gentlemen, today we have our first speaker with us, Dr. H.P. Kanoria, who is the chairman of Acid Survivors and Women Welfare Foundation. He was not keeping too well, but since this subject is very dear to his heart, he did not want to miss on this opportunity to be here and inspire all to fight this cause. So Dr. Kanoria is a renowned industrialist, banker, journalist, educationist, philanthropist, social awakener with a mission and vision for enhancing spiritual value, service to humanity, and taking up the cause for women awakening. Besides, he's got several humanitarian awards in this area. Dr. Kanoria. I think you're on mute. I think, Dr. Kanoria, you're on mute.
No, not anymore.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good afternoon, all the speakers. Welcome you on International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women. It is very concerned matter for the humanity. We all know that we are the children of the God, Almighty, cosmic power. In the Vedic scripture, it is said, God is alone. He felt loneliness. He said, Eko ham bahushyami. I am alone, let there be many. So he manifested all of us. And in the Bible also, it is said that we are made in the image of the God. So we are the manifestation of the God, not the creation of the God. From himself, he has manifested all the human beings, man, woman, and all the living beings, all the incarnate, all are being manifested by the Almighty Lord. So there's a difference of only the gender. The soul is the same. It is perfect, divine, and having the gigantic power, oceanic power. Because God has given all his perfection, because he has manifested all his perfection and love embodied in the living beings, human beings. But he has covered us with illusion that is called the Maya, so that he can play, he can enjoy. So evil, though perfection is with us, but evil is also embodied in our human beings. So we are misusing our perfection. So the soul is the one, the body dies, the soul remains immortal. So, but however, the women were being honored. They were highly educated. You know that many women have defeated the great scholars even in the Vedic time. But after the invasion, all our sanskara, all our values have been destroyed, and we have become men have become violent against the women. In our scripture, it is mentioned, all we are doing the puja, worship and devotion of Mother Durga, Mother Kali, Mother Lakshmi, Mother Saraswati. They have all the powers of the wealth, education, wisdom, discrimination, and intellect. And Mother Kali is the destroyer of all the evil. But still, the violence persists against the woman. It is surprising why this is happening, why the men become so violent against the women, even the minor girls. So women are the reflection of God's love. Women have to awaken themselves they need not to be dependent. They have a strength mightier than the men. Swami can say, educate women and let them manage themselves. All of us need to awaken women power within years, tolerance, restraint, and love. And now we have seen that many women have risen to the top positions in the world, globally. Even in India, women are on the top position. So against the violence, we have been fighting also. We have founded SC Survival and Women Welfare Foundation, which is non-profit organization for public good and charitable purpose, which focus on education of acid violence and care of acid victims. Acid Survivors Women Welfare motto is positive prevention and rehabilitating lives. That at once defines its mission, purpose, and the scope of activity. We also provide welfare for the women who have become victims of the domestic violence. In Chennai, headquarters of this foundation is in Calcutta. We have got the chapter in Western country, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Bhubaneswar, Meerut, and Patna, and other places. We are also working in fraternity with Cambodia, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, Uganda, and Colombia, and UK. It is surprising that in UK, even the violence is there in the Western countries. This has enabled our skill sharing, cross-country interaction, and resource mobilization. I am sure that Acid Survivor Foundation with major stakeholders will arrive at concrete and actionable solutions and to various problems that will be of help to the government and civil society. We have been rescuing the girls from the trafficking also. So far, we have rescued about more than 150 girls and rehabilitated them. We are facilitating the medical treatment, assistance, self-employment, vocational training, and so and so. And a trauma care kit has been developed by us, the first of its kind in the world, that provides that how, when a girl or woman is being attacked by the acid, how the treatment, first treatment is required. So there are numerous activities we are doing. In Chennai, we have got Shiragu. That is, Shiragu means Uran, fly. So we want that the woman should fly. As they have become the first astronaut in India. I am forgetting the name. The first lady astronaut is the Indian lady. And in Bihar, and one a small village of 60,000 population, we have got the Solar Charkha mission. In Solar Charkha, the current electricity is being taken from the solar, and the women are being trained to spin the yarn on the charkha, and we buy the yarn and then get it made in the clothes. And so that we have already provided about 180 charkha to the women, and they are spinning, so they can earn 3,000 to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 rupees a month. So we are trying in our own way with the suggestion and other collaboration to help the women in various ways. We are being guided by great philosopher and monk, Swami Vivekananda, by his message, philosophy, and his Guru Paramananda Sri Ramakrishna. We need to partner with the governments, UN agency, civil society, organization, other institutions to find ways to prevent violence against women and girls. In conclusion, I would like to thank each of you being present here to support the cause of cows, to observe the International Day for the elimination of violence against women, so that it is a stop. Not a stop, it is eliminated. And we become human beings, perfect human beings, as the God wanted. When we do not act as per the wish of our parents, he pains, he can't help. So God has given us the free will, but if we do not act as he wants, as he will, he pains. So let us be perfect and divine as God has given, and do our best, do our whatever we can do. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Kanoria. Thank you very much for that. Our next speaker is Aparajita Roy, who is currently the Deputy Commissioner Police, Special Task Force at Kolkata Police. Earlier, she worked as DCP Detective Department and closely supervised various units dealing with investigation and prevention of crimes against women and children. She will give her views and insight and suggestions to mitigate the challenges. And I'm sure that it will be very interesting to hear her real life experiences. So, Aparajita Roy, welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. One second, just.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for introducing me. Thank you to the forum for organizing something like this, to Dr. Kanoria for giving that introductory message. Today is the day for International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women. International because the issue is international. It is not just in India where we think that women are mistreated or beaten up or violated. It is all over the world. That's why international. But we have to think globally, act locally. So the best what we can do is what we can do in our houses and in the streets that we walk on every day. When we are talking about violence against women, I would like to take a little and then not agree with a little bit of what Kanoria ji said. When we are talking about protection from violence, we are not demanding that, we are not asking that, not even asking, we are not expecting that for only godly women. We are not expecting that for the right women. We are not expecting that only for the good women or the good girls in the society. We are asking them, or we are expecting that to be a normal behavior for all category of women, including prostitutes, including children of prostitutes, including women who have multiple partners, including women who decide not to stay in our house, including women who decide not to get married in our life, including women who are lesbians, including women who are transgenders. So we are expecting this behavior to be a norm for all women. So when we are putting women in the pedestal of Lakshmi and Devi and Kali and this, that, and all. It is a way of looking. We understand that it is a way of, for especially for men, to see it and to, like, to put them on a pedestal. But for women, I don't think so. It really matters. You think that I am Kali or not, because everybody knows I am not. We are just simple human beings, right? We are not gods and goddesses to to engage your minds in that spiritual way, or to keep us on a pedestal on that spiritual this one. So but in India, since religion is it is an overarching thing, and it is used, it is seen as a message to impose many things. For example, if you have noticed, I give this small example. I'm sorry, the dogs outside. One second, just give me a second. I'm so sorry. So if you have noticed that on the side streets, I think it's there in every city in India. If you have noticed in some of the side streets, where men, generally men, obviously, tend to urinate on the public walls. People put posters of gods and goddesses on those walls, right? And because they feel that a person who is thinking of urinating there will see the god and the godly presence, and deter from urinating or dirting that place. But still, those places are urinated. And in the same way, how much ever we compare women to goddesses and put them up at a pedestal, the violence continues unabated. Also, this is a narrative which is very typical to India to compare with goddesses, because in the foreign countries where we interact with the people there, with groups such as yours, and with feminist thinkers and writers, sociologists, and police officers, they have a very they never compare women to Mother Mary or something like that, the Virgin Mary, to elicit this sort of response from men. They never say that you should not violate women, or you should not discriminate against women, or you should not beat a woman because she is like Mother Mary. No, nobody says that. As in, like, it's not in the narrative. But in India, it is. And that brings about a distinction between a good woman and a bad woman. And that also puts in the minds of the men that good women should be compared to goddesses and they should be given all respect. But bad women can be violated, and bad women sometimes deserve to get violated and beaten up and discriminated against. So I think that is the first thing that we need to put in our narratives, in the way we talk, in our speeches, that women is an inclusive term. Women should not be a discriminatory term, and it should include all women, all vulnerable women, everybody in the across spectrum. Secondly, when we are talking about violence against women and elimination, whom are we targeting? Whom are we trying to talk to in terms of achieving this objective? Obviously, the general answer will be all men, because the perpetrators are largely men. I'm using the term largely because it is not just the men. It is, I would say, if you have to name one culprit, then it will be the patriarchy. It will be the patriarchal system which is causing this violence against women. And within that system, if you have to identify people to pin down the blame, you're not surprised to know. In fact, you all know that it will be men as well as women. Why women? So a lot of men have this way of explaining कि उनको तो महिलाओं से ही प्रॉब्लम है, लड़कियां ही उसको पसंद नहीं करती. But when we are talking about this one, that मेरी माँ का भी उससे प्रॉब्लम है, वो आंटी भी उसको स्टैंड नहीं कर सकती. But it is because that auntie or those महिलाएं, whatever, have been drenched with that thing of patriarchy, that they see things in the same way as the men. If somebody has spent her entire life not stepping outside the house without the permission of her husband, has spent her entire life eating the leftovers after the husband has eaten, has spent her entire life just looking after the needs of the children and nothing else, having no aspirations whatsoever, we cannot expect her to have a very liberal thought of, like, appreciating women who go out to work, appreciating women who step out of the house without taking permission from their husbands or their in-laws or from their parents, or appreciate women who decide to prioritize her career over her children, or over having children. So so it is women as well as men who are this part of this patriarchal process that are the targets that we have to identify in order to achieve this objective of elimination of all forms of violence against women. Where do we start? We start as does charity start? We start from home. And so when we start from home, automatically the impression is to teach our children. That is one way we look at it, teaching our children, teaching our boys. There's a lot of talks right now, jingoism, of teaching the boys should be sensitized. Yes, but it is equally important to challenge the elderlies at home. So there is this thing in India, and I don't know elsewhere, but in India, that unka to umar ho gaya, ab jaise bhi hai rehne dijiye, means we cannot change his or her thought process now. He or she will just survive for another 10, 12 years. Let it be. No. The idea is not to go and fight with them and box them or beat them up or something. The idea is to challenge them every time they do something. So if my husband's mother is expecting me to eat food after them, so I and my husband should be able to convince them that what they're thinking is wrong, and they may feel bad about it. They may feel that their egos may get hurt, and they may feel that this is not correct. My son has become very tech, and etc. But this is required. As much as we are trying to talk to the children and ensure that the generation which comes up is a different generation, a generation that is more conducive to elimination of violence against women. But it is equally important that we talk to our elderlies so that their influence does not continue existing or influencing the younger generations. Over the period of these so many years, I've been in the police since 2013, and I have had the chance to, I will not say opportunity, because I don't want these incidents to happen. It's not an opportunity for us. It's tragedy. We have had the misfortune of interacting with many juvenile offenders, children who have been accused of raping other children, children who have accused of beating up other girls or molesting girls, and also young adults, for example, the ones in their 20s to 25s, 20s to 30s, who have been accused of beating women, inflicting violence upon women. And when you look at their profile, you would think that these are all from disturbed families, or maybe they are from broken families, or they are from families that the father is definitely somebody who is a drunkard, or the mother is definitely somebody who doesn't give time to her children, etc. But that is wrong. These offenders and these perpetrators, they come from all social circles. They come from very good families also, and you will be astonished. Maybe you'll not be, because you all are work in that same area, but the amount of violence that exists amongst the elite class in India is an untold story. And because the thing is that they don't even go and report to the police for fear of their name being revealed and the family coming under public scrutiny, etc. So it is not just the social status that is deciding whether such people are getting churned out into the society. It is not just the economic status that is deciding that. It is not just your family status that is deciding that. Although there has been a sort of inclination towards statistics where people from broken families or people who do not have a very stable family life tend to be more in the number in terms of the perpetrators that we're talking about. So okay, if a person is from a broken family, or person is from a very that kind of situation where he has to go after his basic needs, his parents don't look after him, he has nobody to look up to, etc., that we think, okay, natural, that there is a reason why. But how are people from very established stable families who have supposedly loving parents getting into something like this? For example, in the boys locker, I'm sure all of you must have heard of the voice blocker incident. The voice blocker is only a tip of an iceberg. There are such groups in every place now, mushrooming in every city, in every schools. They are there, and these students belong to very they were, well-known, well-established. Not, I'll not say well-known. Sorry, that was wrong use. Well-established families where it is expected that apparently they had receiving all the love and attention of their parents. And for this, I would like to bring about a thing of exposure. Exposure. The children today are getting exposed to a lot of things which is without the parent supervision. So a parent may be a very doting parent, a parent may be a very loving parent, maybe giving him all the things, maybe talking to him, but the amount of exposure that the child is getting from his cell phone or from the internet is unsupervised. And now most of them are spending most of their time online. Hence, that supervision which used to happen during the 80s, during the 90s, maybe during the early 2000s, has almost been marginalized. Why? Because the parents are also engaged in their online tasks and online activities and online presence, and the children are also in. And these are like separate rooms in a house. These are like separate rooms in a house where the parent does not have the key to the child's room, and the child does not have the key to the parent's room. So although they are living together in the same home, although their photographs on social media, etc., will narrate a very different story of, that they are spending time together, they're going and eating outside, and they're going for picnics, and they're going for tours, and they are traveling together. But if you understand their online behavior, you'll realize that these are very separate compartments. And somebody mentioned to me that there is always this question, how well do you know a person? So I expect that the parents know the child the best, or the child knows the parent the best, or the husband knows the wife best, or the wife knows the husband best. But the reality of today is that nobody knows you better than your cell phone. The cell phone knows you better than anybody else. And this supervision, which used to happen when earlier it was the parents who used to know the best about the child, used to know every activity that the child would engage in, would know where the child is going, with whom the child is talking, whose house the child is going for homework, what movies is he seeing, what programs is he seeing on TV. That has completely been privatized, because of which the exposure, as I said earlier, is unsupervised. Now, when the exposure is unsupervised, naturally it is a growing mind. It absorbs everything. And when it happens with my niece and nieces also, when there are various kinds of music that my niece used to get exposed to, she would pick up the rowdiest song, and she would be singing it. Like if you expose her to Beethoven and Jagjit Singh, and then this item number, she would be picking up the item number before anything else. So there is, I think, a natural tendency towards, identifying, getting attracted to something that is forbidden, something that is prohibited, something that apparently looks wrong. So, so it is a natural tendency among the children. So if this is the case, what should we do? More supervision, more talking, and more interaction with the child helps. This we have seen in a few of our cases also, where we had suggested for some remedial thing, and the parents have come back later, and they have given us a feedback of now the things are improving between their children, and he or she is more open and more this one about it. And you would be surprised to know that when we were investigating a case which was similar to the boys' locker room, some of the most scariest comments, I would not like to quote it, but some of the most scariest and the goriest comments were made by girls against other girls, that this should happen to her, like this, the worst thing should happen to her. And we were really shocked to read that. And when we tried to approach the girls, because they really needed counseling, we thought the parents came in full frontal attack against us, and they protected the child, and they said nobody. And I was very sorry to tell them that if you had been so proactive in the first place, maybe this would not have happened. It was because there was some lack of supervision. Otherwise, a 12-year-old girl, how does she come to know about all these things? How do they frame such words? How do they know that it is bad, and how do they know that it hurts? And so this kind of things we, as investigating officers and as people in the law enforcement agencies, we come across, and many times we are helpless. But we still continue to counsel a lot of other parents and other children who come to us and seek our help. So this is one category of people who should be addressed in order to help us achieve our target of elimination of violence against women. Though that is the children. And the second part would be, as I mentioned, the elderlies, the people who are elder to us, who are still entrenched in a lot of their patriarchal ideas, which are derogatory to women, or which sort of perpetuates that idea that women are less. Because, as you know, violence against women is not a crime of strength. It is not a crime of revenge. It is and it always has been a crime of power. It has always been an expression of power play. So when you grow up seeing from your parents, seeing from your grandparents that women are lesser, women should be powered over, this puts the seed that germinate the idea that women are lesser, and we can express our power over them, and we can exercise our power over them and make them powerless. So these are the two categories of people. Thirdly, the law enforcement agencies and the judiciary obviously need to be sensitized time and again regularly, because of the kinds of crimes that are happening, the kinds of sensitivities that people have developed over the years, and to make them more akin to the different technological challenges that are present in terms of violence against women. Earlier, you would say that violence against women, when you see violence against women, what do you imagine? And if you go to Google and if you search for images of violence against women, you will see a battered woman. You will see maybe a cartoon of a woman doing this and shunning some box or some slap or something that is coming her way. But in today's world, violence is the online violence, the online harassment, the online trolling and bullying is beyond control. And there is no specific law that trolls that is against trolling in India. So a woman who is called a slut, a prostitute, in various vernacular languages, variants, and in this one on social media, just because she decides to wear a jeans and a top, she has nobody to go to. She comes to the police, and the police registers a case against all these accounts, which are most likely fake, from all over the world. So the online violence against women, which is happening, online violence and trolling and bullying of women that is happening, it leaves a very strong mark on the woman's psychology. On if it is a growing woman, if it is an adolescent woman, then it is even more. It has deep psychological impacts. Many studies have been done on this, and such psychological impacts impact her confidence, and either make her very aggressive or make her completely docile. So when we're talking about the targets that we have to address in order to achieve this objective, we've covered the children, we've covered the elderlies, the law enforcement agencies, and the general public as to how they should use the internet. I think I'm running out of time here, and this is all I wanted to say. At the end, if there are any questions that can be addressed directed towards me, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think that was a great insight and valuable suggestions, I think, which everybody will definitely follow. And that was a real eye-opener, in fact, and very true to today's context. Thank you for being with us today, ma'am. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of questions also coming your way. Our next speaker is Mrs. Namrata Chadha, who is a renowned social activist from Odisha. She is involved in diverse philanthropic activities for serving humanity. She has been actively formulating policies for development projects pertaining to gender and children. She has been a pioneer in spreading legal awareness and is the former member of the Juvenile Justice Board and State Commission for Women. She has authored many books and is a guest faculty at the State Police Academy and other institutions. And she is also working a lot for the acid survivors. Welcome, ma'am.
Namaskar. Thank you very much, Rahulji. Good evening, everybody. Everyone, that we are having a wonderful this webinar on this eve, 25th of November. That is not, I'm saying, a very famous day in women's life, but it is a very infamous day. The day we are remembering the torture, the kind of violation on their women's right, on women, all these things. Every NGO, every organization is celebrating on that day. Not only this day, they are there for whole week. They are continuing, I'm not saying celebrating, but they are observing, they are conducting workshop, they are conducting seminars or webinar, these kind of thing. First of all, I want to convey my thanks to Dr. Kanoria ji, that he has given us this opportunity, this wonderful platform to share our thinking, our experiences, and from sharing things with others, then we learn many things. That is the process. Learning is always lifelong process. Thank you, Rahulji, for coordinating this. Developer when contact me, I can't say no to him because I'm not a technical savvy person and I hate online talk. This is a very friendly, I want to confess in front of you all. I hate online talks because I think these in online talks, we are talking without any sentiment, without any connecting with each other. We are just telling about ourselves, our views, and after that we are asking, okay, if you have any question you can ask me and we will answer it, and just there is no connectivity, no that thing. But Corona has taught us that in many ways we have to continue this learning process in this difficult time. So I was very, very selective over that. Whenever anybody is inviting me, madam, there is a seminar or there is a talk, please join us. So I still have a very selective one because I am associated with them. I am there in Odisha. I'm not saying I'm representing Odisha. I am there with my entire team. We are working on the SS survivor for that. So I can't, I think this is the right time so I can share my views and time with all you all. There is a one thing I want to tell you. Thank you, Aparajita. I was listening to you very carefully, and these things from when I joined this social activism and this power relation between men and women and the gender discrimination, gender biasness, we learn, and these things we are sharing with others and teaching them, okay, this is the actual reason why women are behaving this or why men are behave differently. So I want to tell you one thing to everyone that from the beginning, we know we are having a data on Google that what kind of violence women are facing. We are saying one side, these are the data, these numbers are very high, but other hand, these all are the most of the, I think more than half cases are unreported on domestic violence, sexual harassment at workplace. Because if there is an acid survivor case or there is a bride burning cases, whether this is sexual assault or gang rape case, it is definitely reported in the police, and it is a very, very visible, and we are having a tangible, what I'm saying, witnesses. We are having a tangible proof to prove that kind of case. But the sad part is that when the women silently suffering their domestic level at home and at workplace, especially in unorganized sector, they even can't raise voice. We are having a local complaint committee. We have a very wonderful mechanism under Shaw Act. But how many of you know about this? If you ask a simple woman who is working on roadside, or she is a domestic help, she is a washerwoman, you ask if anybody is exploited you at workplace, where you will go? Her answer was very simple. कोথায় যাবো? कहाँ जाएंगे हम? किसको complain करेंगे? Even they don't know how to file a complaint and where to go and what to say. So this is the situation we had there. So these whatever available in Google, that is only the tip of iceberg, rightly told by Aprajita Ray. There are the millions of women who are suffering in this type of gender-based violence at home, at workplace, in public places, but it is not about they are not reporting. The sad part is that they're justifying it. They're saying, oh, it happens to them. Might be our master is right. Might be I'm working because I am not doing my work properly. I'm at home, I'm not cooking food properly, or not giving very tasty food to my husband or my in-laws. That's why they are scolding me. They are misbehaving with me. Or sometimes my husband is beating me. They're justifying it. That is the deep-rooted psychologically. It lives in our mind from generation to generation, and it is very difficult to identify those issues with those women who are suffering. When they are coming to us, they are asking, when I was a women commission, whenever they are approaching us, and I think Aprijita told more loudly that way, when they are approaching us, they are coming to police station to file case against their husband or in-laws, or even in Domestic Violence Act, which is introduced in 2005 against their parents, their father, brother, or anyone. They are coming and they are saying, Madam, unko thoda samjha do, please make them understand. Don't scold me, don't use any abusive language, or don't they should not beat me. And so I want to stay very happily and very peacefully in my life, and I will not repeat all those mistakes again. Just ask them, husband should not beat me. That's all. They don't want to file a case against them. They don't want to see their own people. They are arresting by police, or they are going to jail. They don't want to send them jail. When the everything will cross, it is when they are not able to bear all those torture or those type of violence, then only they are opening up their mouth and they're coming forward and filing a case and asking police, okay, now please arrest him, because there is no other way for a reconciliation. So women are the person who does believe in reconciliation, not because for themselves, for their peace, but there is so much of society's pressure, family's pressure. Okay, you are the mother, you can't break home. You are not, we are talking about the broken home, there is always a responsibility here on the woman's shoulder. Okay, they are the women, they are the person जिनको घर तोड़ना अच्छा लगता है, and they can't adjust with anyone. So this is a situation. Psychologically, we have seen there is so much of trauma in women's life. They are not even able to share. They are not even able to. They do not know where to say it, where to share. So there is so many complaints for that. So this is then when we are working with them now. Presently, I am working with the prison department of Odisha and correctional services, and when we are visiting women prisoners in all the different jails, sub jails, central jails, circle jails, and district jails, and we are meeting with them. There are a number of women, and when we are asking them on what basis you are here, why you are here. There are cases of bride burning, they are the mother-in-laws or sister-in-laws, they are the drug peddlers, in few cases they are, there is a, extramarital affair, and there is a conspiracy of murder of husband, like these kind of thing. Then when we are working with them, we are trying to give them all under trial prisoners for their speedy trial, or try to give them a proper competent lawyer, or we have seen one thing, when the man is in jail, the whole attitude is totally different. I want to share this with you. Why? Because when any man, whether he commit any kind of crime, whether it's a heinous gang rape or rape or sexual assault or acid attack or whatever, when he is arrested by police or he forwarded to court and he is in jail, then the entire family there try to protect them. Whether how could he grant bail? They sold out everything for men. कि इसको कैसे भी करके बाहर निकालना है. They want pay a very high fees to their advocates and lawyer. But when the woman is in jail, the situation is totally different. Because she's in jail, oh, she has given a bad name to our family, bad name to our society. So she should be in jail. We don't want them back to at home. So what happened? These women who are in prisons, whether they are criminals or not, it is decided by the court. But again, there is nobody there to talk to them. There is no visitor. No lawyer is coming, because lawyers are not coming to them and taking their case very seriously, because they think nobody is there to pay them. Then who will? Sons, they don't want their mother. Husband is very happy, the wife is in jail. And the other people who are surrounded by her with other relations, parents, house relations, or brother or cousins, they don't want her back. So this is the very pitiful situation of women in prison. So we started counseling them. We started giving them the rehabilitation program after granting bail, where they will go. Then we are having a good networking of Swadhar homes, an old age home. We are trying to give them that shelter in that place and giving them a vocational trainings, etc. But this is not the solution. The solution is we need the whole final approach towards women. As Kanoria ji was telling about the spirituality, it is a wonderful thing. Yes, spirituality heals. Whether you are Hindu, you are Christian, you are Buddhist. Sometimes, I'm not saying religion is like a field, they can, manipulate your mind or something, but sometimes they are giving a good dose to you, solace to your soul, or something very thinking, tonic to your thinking process. At least in spirituality, when you are discussing in that way, it will sometime keep away from criminality. So that is so much of violence inside you. So that is a wonderful idea he has given about that. I have no doubt. But again, I have a few reservations when he was talking about that women, what Prajita was telling before that we have a category of women's. There was a very famous Hindi song, औरत को औरत ही रहने दो कोई नाम ना दो, प्यार को प्यार ही रहने दो कोई नाम ना दो, मैं कहती हूँ औरत को औरत ही रहने दो कोई नाम ना दो, because we are having a different name. Oh, she's a prostitute, she's a dad, she's a woman from minority, she's a Dalit woman, she's a woman from this class, she's from that caste. So we always divide. You see, whether it is a farmer woman, whether it is in India, I'm talking about now India, then I will talk about globally, whether it is your country's movement, it is your boundary movement, it is your Taliban's movement, it is your religious movement. Every time when it is any movement or any protest, all come together to protest that issue or to secure them. So all come together. If you just talk very bad something about Bengali language or about Tamil language or about Gurumukhi or about so everybody will come forward to protect their mother tongue. Oh, this is our Matrubhasha. How dare you are? How could you say to this? If you're talking about their religion, their reality, whether they are Dalits, whether they are in minority, whether they are Hindus, whether they are in the particular caste, everybody will come together strongly protesting that views, why you are naming us or blaming us on that particular caste or something. But when there is a issue of women, violence against women, torture on women, or the gender discrimination of women, then everybody divides. Everybody divides. They are never come together to raise their voice on violence against women. If you are in Bengal, then you have to take care of your political parties. Okay, whether the police always work under the political parties, what their master is saying. Sometimes they are doing good work, sometimes they have to follow their instructions. It is an instruction from their leaders. I'm not talking about West Bengal, whether you are in Delhi, whether you are in UP, Yogi Sarkar, whether you are in Odisha, whether you are in Jammu Kashmir, whether you are in Tamil Nadu, go to everywhere. It is the direction from the higher authority. Okay, registers less number of cases. Why? Because if we will register more number of cases, so what happened? It will show a very bad name to our state that, oh, okay, there is so much of violence is happening to women. So it is better to register a less number of cases. Go for counseling, go for reconciliation, go send them back and try to adjust out of court, out of police station. So that's why the women, they are in Praja courts, they are in Kangaru courts, they are in Khap Panchayat, they are in Samaj, they are sitting in Biradari, or they are in a local Pada club boys. They are settling all those cases of violence against women. This is a pity, and it is unfortunate. It happens all over India. It is not only this phenomenon we are seeing in Odisha or Bengal, in Tamil Nadu or Punjab, Haryana. Everywhere you go. So these small Khap Panchayat, small local courts, whether even in a northeast also. If anything happened, so they have one tribal group. They belong to that tribal groups, or they will decide. Oh, it is our issue, our local issue. We don't want an Indian law system or anything. We will take care of that. Women should not go to the police station or should not go to the court of law for remedy. So this is the message they want to give a society. especially women. But I am also believing that it is going to the police station and registering case is not solution, giving a solution to any problem that women are facing violence. But yes, it is a way when we have to strengthening our criminal justice system, judicial system, and it should be free from all pressures, especially political pressure, if you really want to eliminate the all kind of violence against women. The second thing is, since I'm working last 25 years in this sector, in the social sector, my approach was very wrong. I am confessing it in front of you. Okay, I was, when I was very young, then I introduced with this NGO sector and other the public sector, and I was working with women. I thought, okay, it is our duty to sensitize women about their rights. It is our duty, and it is our not only duty, it is our job. And it is something good for women if we sensitize them about their rights. We have to make them aware of that, about their legal rights, about their political rights, about their social rights, civil rights, and we have to make them aware. जागरूकता फैलानी है उस पे, औरतों को लेके, and we have to work with that. No, I was completely wrong. Experience taught me it is not it is the right time. Now we have to change our approach and strategy if we really want to do something for women to stop the all kind of, or to eliminate the all kind of violence against women from this planet. We have to teach our boys, we have to teach our sons, we have to teach our family members, whether they are our grandfather or father or husband or brother, whoever at any age. We have to change our strategy. And because if we are working in field, and it is easier for us if we are teaching or making aware or sensitize a younger generation, because in younger generation, they are easily influenced, easily learn, easily adopt. So it is from, if we catch them young, from school level, in very when they are very young, and starting sensitizing that yes, whether by the way of spirituality or any schedule model classes or day-to-day practice, that yes, this is the right way how to treat a woman. We all are equal. We are not specials. That is the problem with feminists. They are saying the women are special. They are multitasker. They are superior than men. वो माँ बन सकती है. I think it's a natural. Biologically, we are different, male and female. We all are human beings, and female has those chromosomes and those physiological or biological structure. They can be a child. If she can be a child, she fed that child. It is automatically the secondary stage. If she is feeding a child, and so she is very close to child, and she is teaching a child all those value systems. So it is not giving a license to others. They will judge that woman कि माँ ने बच्चे को क्या सिखाया, अच्छा सिखाया या गलत सिखाया, और अगर बच्चा गलत होता है तो mother is responsible for that. So these kind of approach we have to totally change, and we have to tell them from the beginning, from the school's curriculum, primary, secondary, then the teenagers, colleges level, as well as with the society as a whole. We have to target our self-help groups who are working in grassroots, not only women folk, but the men folk of that self-help group or their family members. Even I am a member in many committees of ICC, Internal Complaint Committee, under Shaw Act or Posh Act. We have in all these sector or private sector, but they are asking, okay, madam, sensitize our female employees. I told them, okay, no, please don't sensitize our female employees. They know about their rights. They know what pinches them. The way you are staring at them, the way you are passing rude comments on them, the way you are pressurizing them, they know their right, but they are not able to open their mouth because of their job, because of their dignity, because they don't want to give a bad name to their family. There is so much of pressure. They don't want to file a case against them. So better to sensitize the male counterpart. We need a conducive environment. We don't want to divide the society between male and female, but we need that environment, conducive working environment. So this is the right approach. when our Prime Minister is saying "Beti bachao, beti padhao," it is not. He's not saying कि बेटी रास्ते पे चल के रोती रोती बोले बचाओ 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 and हम लोग अपने बेटों को बोलेंगे पढ़ाओ 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 और उनके पीछे भागो. No, we need equal treatment for each and every woman and every child, girl child. And this is way we have to sensitize our male member first. We have to target that, and we have to change our strategy. And it is not we are blaming male that, oh, okay, you are under this patriarchal umbrella, you are the responsible. They are grown up in that environment. Their society, their parents, their family has given that value system. That's why they adopt that kind of approach towards women. So from the beginning, from when they are in womb, whether it's a female child or male child, when mother, we have to catch them, the newly wed couple, mothers, elder people, and the school students, especially the male children, male students, and we are at workplace, male officers. So if we target them, we trying to sensitize them, and we have to that a positive approach to change their mindset towards women. We have to teach them the women are not commodities. Women are not property of one particular gender. Women are not there to show your power. So many things we don't have to learn from UN, we don't have to learn from European countries, we have to simply go to tribal society. You go to the interior of Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Northeast, you go the interiors of Odisha, you see how tribal society is gender, I am saying, the compatibility. There is so much of, we can't say such a big gap, what we are seeing in an urban area, what we are seeing in a so-called high caste or high authority or high. So this is my request to you.
Namrata ji, for the time. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I'm sorry, I have to intervene.
Yes, okay.
So thank you so much. Yeah, for your very detailed and yeah, thank you so much, and very valuable. And
I want to say you one line before completing my this.
Sure.
There is no say.
Sure.
I've written few poems in Hindi. There is one line I want to share with you. कहाँ की चिड़ैया हो. This is about a girl जो इधर उधर चहकती रहती है. कहाँ की चिड़ैया हो, बेसुरे कौओं के बीच में कुहुकती रहती हो. तुम कहाँ की चिड़ैया हो, इतना दाना डालते हैं, इतना प्यार दिखाते हैं, सोने के पिंजरे में डालते हैं, मौका मिलते ही फुर से उड़ जाती हो. तुम कहाँ की चिड़ैया हो. So for all my dear friends who are watching us, this is my big namaskar to you all, and I am really very sorry if I do not know. I am a woman, and you know, when you give a time to women, they will never stop, and it is a very stereotypic approach.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Namrata ji, for your valuable insight, and you know, with your experience, you've said the right thing. I know that it will be taken in the right spirit, and everybody will take it forward also. Thank you once again. Our next speaker is Mr. Naparajit Mukherjee, who's an IPS, retired now, who had worked in Kolkata Police as Deputy Commissioner, Armed Police, Additional CP, also works at DIG Bardwan Range, DIG VIP Security with the Shri Jyoti Basu, the then Chief Minister. He was also the ADG Railway Police, DIG IB and ADG, a vast experience over all the police departments. I also worked with Shri Buddhadev Bhattacharya, the then CM, followed by the TMC government with Mamata Banerjee ji, and has a rich experience in various aspects of police work during his entire career. I welcome you, sir, to give your insight on this, to observing this day on violence against women, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much. A very good evening to all of you. And I was listening to one of the speakers, and well, I would like to congratulate her on highlighting the aspect of violence on women. So I, at the outset, want to thank the organizers for organizing such a good meeting on an important topic, which is a main concern for the society, one of the most important concerns for the society. Now, the subject which you have chosen is very vast. You know, all types of violence are taking place on women, and well, we are trying to combat it, and with a fair amount of success. But certainly, as in respect of all crimes, it cannot be eradicated completely unless the society itself changes. Nevertheless, at this point of time, because I believe that the time allotted to me is very short, and I want to make it a crisp sort of a discussion. So I would like to concentrate on two aspects of violence against women. One relates to trafficking of women, which is a very important subject matter. And the second, the acid attack, which of course is the subject matter of Mr. Divyalok Rai Chaudhary. He is one of the pioneers of survivors, acid attack survivors, etc. On these two issues, I'd like to concentrate. Give me just 5 minutes and I'll conclude my portion of the talk or discussion in this Zoom meeting. Now, first of all, I would like to share some thoughts about trafficking on women. Now, trafficking is a very, very major subject, and it is a major concern for the women of India. Not only India, there's an international trafficking going on. It's in the Mid-Eastern countries, in Asia Minor, and in East European countries, and also in the Western countries. There is this big problem. In West Bengal, there's a problem, great problem of trafficking affecting various districts. Now, we have got a lot of laws, anti-trafficking laws, but these trafficking laws are certainly not implemented as it should be. There are a lot of gaps in implementing the anti-trafficking laws, basically because of paucity of staff, etc. And then the PITA Act that has to be investigated by officers of the rank of DSPs and all. And there are a lot of other things that NGOs have to be involved. A lot of other legal aspects are there, which makes things difficult for the police to register cases under PITA and investigate them. So they switch on to the Indian Penal Code section, which definitely are having inferior provisions as compared to PITA, which is very stringent. Secondly, the most important issue is, since it concerns two countries, since it concerns states, both interstate as well as international, so there should be a nodal body. Nodal body, the provisions are there, but this aspect has not at all been thought of, and nobody has tried to implement this aspect of the act. Now, my idea is, you have the CBI to look after anti-corruption. You have the NIA to look after terrorism. And these are all controlled by the government of India. So why don't you have an anti-trafficking body on the pattern of CBI, on the pattern of NIA, and try to take a hard look at this crime, which is going on both internationally and at the national level, and try to do something about it so that there's a proper coordination. And this anti-trafficking is not only concentrated among adult children. It is more in respect of child trafficking, which is a very, very bad reflection on our society. Now, I remember in one of the cases which happened in the year 2010 in a place called Tikiapada in Howrah, about 80 children went missing. Now, we could trace some of them in Bangalore, but then there was all sorts of legal hassles, like identifying their DNA and matching them with their parents to unify them with their parents. So all these hassles went on, and ultimately at this stage, I don't know, but the fate of this case, but nevertheless, it was a very, very bad instance of trafficking of children. So it is high time now when we should have a dedicated anti-trafficking units, not only in the states, but at the central level, to coordinate, and that should be exclusively dedicated to the deal with such a crime. This will definitely improve the trafficking situation in the whole of the country, and also curb the tendency of international trafficking, like from the Indo-Bangladesh border, Nepal border, Bhutan border, and all these areas. The second is relating to acid victims. Now, it will be carrying coal to Newcastle in front of Mr. Dibbalok Rai Chaudhuri if I narrate some of the legal provisions which exist in respect of acid survivors. Nowadays, the most important aspect is compensation of women who are victims of acid attacks. Now, at the district level, you have got the DLSA, the District Legal Service Authority, and at the state level, you have got the SLSA, which are controlled at the district level by the district judge, and at the state level by the Honorable High Court. Now, here there is a provision. They have got a certain corpus which compensates the acid survivor or acid victims, and it also helps them for rehabilitation, like undertaking plastic surgery and other aspects by which the victim could be integrated once again with the society. This is one legal aspect, and of course the Indian Penal Code, they have made an amendment, 326A of the IPC, if I'm not wrong, has been inserted as a special provision to deal exclusively with acid victims. At this stage, I don't have the statistics to say that how many cases were recorded in West Bengal, all over India, and what are the fate of those cases, whether they have come to a logical conclusion, that is a trial by which the perpetrators were brought to book and adequately punished. Now, this is one area where the criminal justice system is lacking, because the trials are badly delayed, whereas the police, they have got an injunction that they have to complete investigation within 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is, but there is no such injunction in respect of trials. Of course, very recently in case of rape cases, they have said it has to be completed within 1 year or so, but this is not happening in actual practice, and it is invariably delayed. And when there's a famous saying that justice delayed is justice denied. So, but one positive aspect of this acid survivor is that at least they are being compensated. But here, I would request the NGOs that they should monitor individual cases with the DLSA and SLSA, because what I feel that acid victims are not very much as large in number as traditional crimes like dacoity, murders, etc. Not so much in number, so it could be monitored. It could be monitored, and timely compensation to the victims could be given. This is the minimum which we can do and we should do, so that the red tapeism and other delays are avoided, and the poor victim could be at least integrated and rehabilitated in the society. With these few words, and wishing all the best to the organizers and to all other participants, I would like to close my chapter, my portion of the discussion today, this evening. Thank you very much, and good night to all of you.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for being with us today and giving an insight on the trafficked women and acid survivors and how they can benefit, how they can come out of this entire trauma. Thank you for your presence, sir, once again. Our next speaker we have with us is Meenakshi Ranaji, who's the president of Astitva Nepal and a psychologist working with people who are willing to work on themselves. She's also working with burn survivors for almost a decade now. The modalities she uses are Gestalt, physiotherapy, hypnotherapy, and
psychotherapy. It's psychotherapy.
Psychotherapy, and hypnotherapy, and a few others. She loves involving herself in compassion meditation, and she loves animals and plants. Thank you so much for being with us today, Meenakshi ji. So we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much for involving in this program. And I have got so much insight and the traditions and the ways of the Indian culture and society as well. And the way you all are acting against the violence against the women. So I am feeling so privileged. In terms of Nepal, we are a small drop, very small drop, who are working for the women and children, and also the male survivors as well. I can only talk about our experiences today. We have been working, saying it's been 10 years we have been working with the burn survivors, both burn survivors and acid survivors. And my colleague and I had an idea that we should also help their children. So we started to have another project to help their children, because as we all know that burn is very expensive treatment. So they cannot manage it. So all the burn survivors, they are from the marginalized group. So we think to do something about the violence, we have to, educate those children as well for the society, for the new society. So we are now helping 22 children of the burn survivors, and we are giving all those things those rich children are getting. Like, not all, we cannot give all those things, but we are helping, at least helping to give them some of the things. We are checking their home, and we are giving their psychological supports, and we are also providing the things they needed, like the stationaries. We call it that we are giving all the support that they need for now. Like during the pandemic also, we have been giving them the support that they need some laptops and cell phones. So we are planning to provide them all those things, and we already gave some for some children. We already have been given to them. So that way we are helping them. And in terms of Nepal, we are celebrating today the first birthday of the legal procedure of the cabinet of the minister. They passed the legal legal procedure of the acid survivors. And now we don't have law against burn, but we have law against acid burn survivors. So yeah, and we are also helping the mothers of those 22 children, and we are giving them psychological support and the surgery support, and also the nutrition for their wounds, because they cannot work, and their husbands and their family, most of their husbands and their family, they do not support them. So we are working with the other organizations to give them home, shelter homes to stay and live there. Yeah. And yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very privileged that I am able to, I am able to be here and share about my organization. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi ji. Thank you for joining us. I think we've had a very important session today, and there were a lot of ideas which have come in here. And We were looking for some questions, but I don't think we have got any questions coming in right now. But I see that Aparajita ji is making a lot of notes there. So I think he has something more to tell us. She's been very busy right throughout. So anything which you would like to sum it up, since I think your hands-on experience has been so vast. It will be nice if you can sum up this entire conference today, what you heard from others. I think that would be very nice, ma'am.
Firstly, a confession. I was just attending to some of my work in office. I'm sorry. I was listening to you all.
Oh.
And since you have bestowed this responsibility on me, I will try to make it very brief. I think all of us agree that, the elimination of violence against women requires a multi-pronged approach. It cannot rest on one organization or one institution to bring about a change in that. Change has to start from home somewhere, and which has to be corroborated with the institutional support that the government, the law enforcement agencies, and the judiciary and non-governmental organizations like yours will give. And thirdly, all of us, I think, agree to the fact that we still have a very long way to go. And but as long as all of us are chipping in and putting in our best, along with whatever else we do, I'm sure there will be a better future for our children. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. There is one person who has one question, so I will take that question. Somebody gonna that? Who is that? Rashmi. Rashmi, are you there? Can you unmute yourself and ask, how do we empower women with? I can't see the entire thing.
Strategizes at individual level.
Yes.
How do we empower women?
I typed it.
Yeah.
I typed it very quickly. The question is not that
Okay.
not just one sentence. Thank you, Rahul, for sending me the link to join this webinar session. It is very, very insightful. People are really on the ground. They're experienced. They're working, and they are so much knowledgeable. Just from one webinar, I got so much information. I research in forensic analysis, and I'm a linguist and use language as a tool to analyze crime and criminality. And I can tell you, I'm so proud to hear each and every speaker from different levels so much to give me information I take away today. But one thing as a woman I have found, working in a completely foreign culture, in a foreign land, literally I came with a suitcase, and today have got a husband and a daughter and wide network of friends and staff, colleagues. And one of them, in the process, I met Rahul in my journey. And this is to put it shortly, to summarize our connection. My question is, from my own experience, I have had to navigate a patriarchal society from a cultural level, even in a Western world. I had to navigate as a daughter with my father when I was growing up in Kolkata. I grew up, I had a very privileged upbringing in a convent school, but still my father, who was an engineer, a mechanical engineer, who had his apprenticeship in a foreign world, still had his limited understanding of what is accessible to a girl in the world. So I learned, nobody taught me, I learned to empower myself with strategies to navigate in this society where mother is also to a point, to a level, blinkered about how a woman should be functioning in a male society. My father is, my husband too, my daughter too. It is at all levels. So for me, what is most important is, how does it at individual level we strategize and empower ourselves to navigate at different levels the soft form of emotional, by soft form, I mean the emotional level of interactive, I wouldn't say violence, interactive prejudices, biases, which become violence, which become actively violent at a much later level. But we have to be empowered from a very childhood at different levels to cope with it so that we can protect ourselves rather than putting all the onus on the organizations. Sorry for a very long question, but I really enjoyed, and you all must take a pat on your back.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rashmi. Arajita ji, would you like to
If you
answer?
want me to choose somebody to answer my question, I can do that, or it is to the floor.
No, you can ask anyone on that.
I was really when I thought about this, I was thinking of two people who came to my mind is Aparajita and Namrata.
I think, okay, Parajita, would you like to say something, or Namrata, would you like to, Namrata ji, would you like to answer that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's hear that.
Thank you. It is Rashmi.
Yes.
Yes, Rashmi, for this wonderful question. I want to answer that everybody is talking about the women empowerment. For me, empowerment is not a tonic prescribed by a doctor. Take 2 spoonful in morning or evening, you will become empowered. It is a process. It is a very, very tedious, time-taking, lengthy, and very hard. We need a hard working on that. This is a process. So we have to work on that. And we have to work on that jointly. It is not that it is my responsibility. I have to work because I'm working for a women's issue, or it is a responsibility of a government. No, jointly we have to work on that. If you really want to empower a woman, really want to see them empowered. This is a one thing. Second thing, you are talking about the emotional navigation or the emotional hand holding of a womanhood. That is, I do believe it is always different from person to person. You cannot judge or you cannot give the same kind of prescribed module or any talk or anything to all women equally. So they act differently to a different situation. Because of their background, because of their religious value, because of their value system, because of their cultural different placement. So it is differently, they act differently, and it is good. It is good. It is not, I do believe it is not that every woman should react in same way. No, they're all individual. We have to respect. So this is but we need a one what I'm saying, a common minimum program for each and every society students from the beginning. And that is I was telling in my presentation, that is that we have to change the mindset of men. And it is the right time we have to start working on that we have to sensitize our male member of our society rather than the focusing on the female. So the problem is that we are always, when we are talking about the women's empowerment or women, we are only focusing on the women, and we are forgetting that men, and we are taking men as a villain. कि वही सब कुछ करते हैं, वही बदमाश है, वो नहीं है. We have to see them as a whole. कि उनको कैसा bringing मिला है, कैसा उनका mindset है, and we have to change it very, very, very slowly. And we should start it from that, just like she told that it is charity begins at home. So अपने घर से शुरू कीजिए. सब तभी ये काम हो सकता है. Thank you for asking this question. Yes, anything want to add? Yes.
I don't want to hog the floor if people have other questions, and of course every webinar has got a time limit. So, but one maybe I haven't explained myself very well when I asked the question is, I understand that men have to be sensitized, and therefore the family members have to be sensitized, so that when they are bringing up the children, they are also treating the genders as equal and not as male and female. But there are certain things, principles in our society and also in all cultures, which is there to around which we have got to work, around which if I give a very crude example of having like toilets where a male and a woman toilet, we have to have two different toilets, that's for sure. So it's a very crude example, but certain things we can't change, but some things have to be done here and now. Some mindsets have to be changed in the here and now to bring safety at a very, very ground level, by sensitizing men or boys or our older members of the society or the mothers who are bringing up our kids. Might take it is a very ideological and time consuming process. But for example, if I have to protect myself, so what do? I don't go in India. When I'm in India, I don't go out and be in the streets on my own after 7 o'clock, because the culture doesn't allow me to be on the streets on my own after 7 o'clock or 10 o'clock. It doesn't. So what I do, I empower myself, and I go there with a male member, or if I have a car, I take a family car. So that is what I was trying to say. How do I, at an emotional level, I can see, how do I educate my own father, who doesn't think that I was a star in dancing, and my father wouldn't allow me to go and do shows which my school organized, and I did one show, and he packed me in the taxi and brought back home. But he's the one who found that I was a good dancer and gave me the opportunity. So in one hand, he is giving me the opportunity, and on the other hand, he is also bounded by the society to protect his child. So we can't blame or tell the older members that they have to be empowered to sensitize and this, that, and the other. Within our culture, how do we individually, or at an individual level and at a school level and then at a more broader level, make the mindset that it is you who have to really protect yourself. You come first.
May I respond
Please.
to that?
Thank you. Thank you,
okay.
Aparajita.
The thing that you have raised, it is a confusing question, especially for women who are growing up. When we have interacted with adolescent girls and all, this is the thing which majorly comes up. And the term empowerment, as I see it, is term empowerment in its basic fundamental sense is to have the power to make a choice. That is empowerment in its most basic sense, right? Whether I have the choice to dance or not, but it is within the limits of the constitution, of the law, and without hurting anybody else, physically harming or shaming somebody else. So the initial, when we are talking about, when Madam Chada also spoke about the sensitization part and bringing up boys and etc. and speaking to our elderlies, that goes simultaneously along with our own efforts to not be apologetic for our existence and not be apologetic to occupy our spaces, right? So for this, what do you need? You need a peer group. You need to have that sense of connect, or a sort of network, a women's network, I would say. You may say that it is sounding too feminist. I'm an unapologetic feminist. So you need to have that women's network in which you can share. You need to support other women. You need to support other women when they're voicing their concerns, because as I always say, just because a person has not pickpocketed you does not make him a less of a pickpocketer. Just because a person has not come and stolen at your house does not make him less of a thief. So there needs to be a strong support mechanism amongst the women, firstly, where you can share, you can get your tips and ideas. Secondly, you have to empower yourself. Whether, see, it is the responsibility of the state. When you spoke about coming to Calcutta and not being able to travel alone, it is a shame on my department, it's a shame on me that I'm not being able to provide that public space for a woman to move freely. And trust me, we are trying all our means to ensure how it can be safer, how it can be more accessible, how a woman can move freely even at the dead of the night. And we are taking steps and all to ensure that. But on your part also, I would not say don't step out of the house, but at least know that which phone number should I dial first, know your road, know how to use the Google map, know whether your driver is not fooling you, know whether that in case something happens, what is the first number that should be dialed. So these are the different technological ways. You don't have to learn judo and karate and all to protect yourself. So in this today's world, you can use all these technological helps to empower yourself. And the best way to empower oneself is always find somebody else to empower. It could be your maid, it could be your nanny, it could be the woman at the khana outside your house, it could be the woman who comes to wash your clothes. Always empower somebody else. And how do you empower? By teaching her how to use the phone, by teaching her how to open a bank account, by teaching her how to not to respond to false or fraud messages, by letting her know that she can stand up against violence, by letting her know where the police station is, by letting her know where she can admit a child. So these are the ways you can empower somebody else, and this is how you also build a network. Like I always said, the rights on I'll just take 30 seconds. The rights that we have today, I am sitting in this office, I'm enjoying this office, I am wearing jeans, I can walk around, I can wear shorts, I can wear a crop top and walk around. This is because 30-40 years back, women like me of my age group had fought their beep off, and they have struggled, and they have been arrested, they have been thrown to jails, they have been tortured, they have been divorced upon, they have been thrown out of their houses, and the struggles of that women have made us what we are today. And the struggle does not stop. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit more of an aggressive feminist, but the struggle does not stop. And that does not mean that we take up arms and start fighting. The struggle first is about ourselves, whether you are comfortable with yourself, whether you are comfortable with the women around you. And then sensitization goes one way, and you empowering yourself, you empowering the other people, you making a choice and sticking to it continues in the other way. These are both the two by-lanes of the same road. I hope I was able to address a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that was very interesting and very enlightening. I think what you said, the basic things like you just mentioned, how you should empower even your maids to understand what's happening, know where the police station is. I think these small things make a very big difference, because you're right. This is what we don't know, what is happening next to us while we are looking at things, what's happening outside us. So that's very interesting. And thank you so much, all our panelists who are here today. It was lovely having you. Thank you once again for your participation. Thank you. Thank you so much.